Yo, this is Tone Capone, and you're getting lifted to the sounds of my DJ, DJ Spaceship. Go ahead and beam him up, boy. Let's get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him.
Greetings and salutations from us to all the nations. We're about to get loose, strictly for entertainment. We're reppin' Tampa Bay, 10 toes down. It's waves of the bay. No, we ain't playing round. Saturdays from 10 to 12. Make sure you ride the wave. It's Tone Capone and DJ Spaceship on your airwaves. We're mixing interviews, R&B and hip hop. We're blasting off, and the top is just a pit stop.
This is Waves of the Bay right here, 88.5 Tampa, episode 16. I'm Tone Capone. If you guys are not familiar how we get down, you guys can catch us out all social media at Waves of the Bay. Visit my webpage, tone-capone.com. I spell my name with a K. So if you spell it with a C, you will not see me. So please make sure you spell my name correctly. We have a tab that says Waves of the Bay, and you can see all the interviews on there, hear all the episodes on there, and even catch some of the podcast shows that we did too, because, you know, we like to stay busy, you know what I'm saying? So DJ Spaceship over here just finished killing in the Kenny K studio. What's up with your ship?
I'm chilling, man, trying to do my tech support side of things, man. I'm trying to figure something out.
I see you struggling over there.
I'm struggling, yeah. That's not part of my job. Trying to figure something out over here.
Man, you don't need them. It's cool.
No, I want to hear the instrumentals and stuff.
Oh, you want to jam out?
Yeah, I
you know, I'll be trying to do my thing on this over here now. They got me behind the boards now, so I'm over here trying to put my touch on the show.
Yeah, we just over here just looking at each other like this. A staring contest.
Don't even hear what's going on. I'm over here jamming.
Man,
y'all don't even know.
We don't want to hear all that, but we want to hear that.
For sure. But yeah, man, we got DJ LYVWYR here. We got a bunch of friends in the studio as well, so we having a good time, man. Every Saturday from 10 to midnight, we are right here. So if you are listening to us now, make sure you tell somebody else to listen to us as well, man. We get down, for real. This ain't nothing new. We get down over here, so it's all right, Ship. It'll work.
It don't work that way.
Damn, what, they just come unplug or something?
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, man, it's all good, though.
No, it's not good. You all good. We ain't good.
Hold up, ain't there some headphones over there?
Yeah, that ain't good. We'll work with it.
It is what it is, man. So, let's talk about DJ LYVWYR. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Tampa, Florida.
Yes.
It's an honor to have you here, man. And we got to talk a little bit before the show, and I got a good vibe from you too, man. So I'm excited about tonight's show, for real. I've been excited about this for a while, man. And let me just go ahead and set this off, man. Like, for me, like, it's kind of cool because, like, me and Spaceship, like, our chemistry, like, he's my DJ, I'm a host, hip-hop artist in my own right, you know, and I respect the DJ. And a lot of people don't have that same honor, that same respect. They don't show y'all enough love, man. I know the work that goes in between getting that chemistry right. So how does it feel for the world's greatest entertainer to look at you for his entertainment when he's on the road?
It's interesting because for me, I feel like the balance of hip hop is the mic and the turntable, right? So to me, it only works when they're together. You know what I'm saying? It's like holding one in one hand and holding one in the other hand. That helps you walk straight, right? Because you're balanced, right? So as far as Doug goes, I always tell people this story is interesting. I used to live above a tailor shop in Brooklyn. And a lot of the famous rappers at the time, like, you know, EPMD,
Kane used to come out there,
Kane,
man.
Yeah, like Dougie Fresh, all these people would come to this tailor shop to get there. You remember those old school MCM suits and the Gucci suits, like what Jerome used to wear on Martin?
Oh, yeah.
I made a comeback now.
Play it from the Himalayas.
Right. So a lot of them used to come and get their velour suits and all that stuff hooked up at the shop. And one day Doug pulls up, and I used to live above it, so I used to run downstairs with my little autograph book and like have people sign it. So I run downstairs, and he sees me, and I'm like, hey, can you sign this autograph? And he signs it, but he stops. And he just stops and starts to talk to me. And he's asking me, like, yo, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I'm like, man, I want to be a rapper. Or I want to be a DJ. Or I want to, do something in radio. Like, and so he's like, you're going to need your education to do that, and so forth and so on. And he really took 10 minutes to just stand there and talk to me and my cousin about our futures and what it is that we wanted to accomplish. Well, full circle,
That's crazy, bro.
Right. Full circle. I did what he said. I went to school. I played basketball. I did everything I was supposed to do. Full circle. Years and years later, now I'm somewhat accomplished and I'm doing my thing. We end up on the same show together. I met him. We hit it off right away. I reminded him of the story. He didn't remember, but
there's a lot of partying happening between them.
Right,
man.
right.
You can't expect him to remember that.
You got to look at it this way, though. He don't remember because he's done it so often. You know what I'm saying? Like, he be dropping love on people,
but it's
man.
a lot
Like,
of how much time had passed between that conversation and when it circled back around, you guys met up on this show?
I was 10 then and I was 32 when I met him again.
That's
crazy,
imagine
bro.
all the partying and MCing and entertaining he's done between us. So it's a lot of it's a lot of time passed in between that.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So, we met up, we hit it off again. We did a couple of shows in between that we were on the same bill.
Right.
And then Heavy D died.
Oh, okay.
So when Heavy D died, we had a show at the House of Blues together. Me, him, Slick Rick, and Big Daddy Kane.
Right.
We're doing this show, and I get up there. I was getting ready to do like an old school set, and something just told me, man, let me just go ahead and just do a Heavy D tribute. Just right on the spot, I just started playing Heavy D songs. Boom, 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 boom. So as I'm walking off the stage and he's getting ready to go on, he kind of grabs me and is like, hey, I need to talk to you after this show. So I walk off. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
The show's over. He comes to me. He's like, hey, a lot of people don't know this, but Heavy D was like a brother to me. Like, we were very, very close. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, and I appreciate what you did for him out there. And I was like, Heavy D was that dude. I was a huge, huge fan.
Right.
So he's like, hey, I want you to do exactly what you did for the rest of this tour. So I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. He's like, you don't have any other, conflicting gigs or anything? I'm like, nah, I was lying. I had all kinds of stuff.
So you moved that.
Got big, but you're trying to keep him from showing. You weren't trying to show your card at that time.
Yeah, I'm not going to pass up that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I went and did the last, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 shows left. I went and did that. I came home. For some reason, he lost my contacts. He hit up my man, Pat Nix. Pat hit me up. Was like, hey, Doug needs you for such and such.
Right.
All right, cool. And then the rest is history. And to answer your question, I learned a lot from him. I thought I was a good DJ until I started working with him.
Right.
Because a lot of people who don't know him personally don't even understand the amount of discipline and how devoid he is from an ego. Like, there's no ego.
Right.
Like, there's times we're doing a show, and also to answer your question, he appreciates the DJ a lot. He has 2 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
So, I need me another spaceship, huh?
Right.
Hey, good Lord.
So he
spaceship
respects.
Crazy. That's a head case, man. I don't think they got that many psychiatrists on call like that, man. Spaceship crazy.
Yeah, he respects it a lot. He will be in the middle of a show,
right,
and he can see how they're responding or if they're responding enough.
Right.
And he'll come to me. He'll just step back and be like, hey, take over. I'm going to follow you until I figure out what's going on.
Who's that sound like? Who's that sound like?
That sound like Tone Capone, man.
Yeah.
Like
Live where I be on this dude sometimes, man. Pause, but I be on this dude sometimes.
Well,
man,
you can understand, sometimes, as much as he watches you, he's watching the crowd, he's taking cue. You do the same to him,
right,
to feed off his energy. You don't want to overshoot him. You don't want to project into the crowd the music that they're not feeling.
Correct.
So you're kind of trying to take your cues from him. Now, at any moment, you can go off.
Right.
But you try to take your cues. But there's been it's been quite a few shows that we've done, and I try to ignore him, but he do it all the time, man.
I tell him to step on the neck.
Yeah, he do it all the time.
That's how I tell him. Apply pressure.
I can understand. That's his apply pressure. Apply pressure,
bro.
Just take my chain off like Jet Li or something. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely understand that, man. And it's a wonderful feeling when somebody lets you cut loose and do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. He has the utmost confidence in me. We've done shows. We've done very, very major shows where he'll turn around to me and be like, hey,
do your thing.
Do your thing. Go in.
I'm going to feed off of you.
And I'm going to feed off of you. And then I'll pick it up somewhere along the way.
Right.
But he does that a lot. And I think one of the main things that I learned from him is that it's not about us, it's about them.
Right.
You know, like it has nothing to do with us. It ain't about ego.
Just a cog in the machine.
That's it. It's about them. And, you know, when we're done doing a show and to see the response from people, that's how I know that we're doing it right.
Right.
You know, that's how I know.
And a lot of people hold him, they, you know, like I've heard Puff, I've heard, you know, so many different people, like, you know, they put him out, like, I learned this from Doug. You know, I learned this from Doug. If it's not Doug, it's Slick.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But mostly it's Doug. You see what I'm saying? So for you to be able to take cues and share stages with somebody and for them to be humble enough to step back and follow you, that's dope, man. That's gotta be crazy.
And I also got to give a shout out to my man Special K from the Awesome 2, who's also been a very big mentor to me.
Gotcha.
Biz Markie, who's always been a very big mentor to me.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I mean, those guys deserve a lot of credit as well because, I mean, it does, this DJ thing, man, it takes a community, you know, to keep it going.
Yes,
you have to pass it on. You have to pass it on. I mean, you know, I know there's a lot of dudes out there, and I'm not casting any aspersions on anybody, but there's a lot of dudes out there that are too full of themselves to pass along the knowledge. You know,
I'll give
like
you a quick story. I met a DJ, I won't say his name, but I met a DJ.
DJ such and such.
I met a DJ, and like I said, when I first started DJing, I was just doing house parties. That's why I met Tone at. And for years, you know, Tone was like, I got this plan. I told this story a million times. I got this plan. I want you to be a part of it. So fast forward, we started doing shows and events. And I met this DJ, and I was like, yo, he dope. We had a full conversation on a Friday. We had a conversation on Friday. And I came and seen him that Saturday, that next day, here in this exact same building. And he introduced himself to me all over again like we had never met.
Wow.
And at that point, I was like, okay, I can go ghetto. Actually, he wasn't. He's not a drinker.
And that's the other thing.
Then it might be that same thing.
That's the other thing.
To me, like, my feelings was hurt because I felt like, okay, I came from the house parties. Now I'm doing something. And we just had, like, I thought we bonded a little bit. So my feelings was hurt. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make him respect me. So I can honestly say now he respects me.
But you know what? It's going back to that balance again, right? Because you have to understand, in order for you to be successful, you can't only have the positive vibes. You have to have the negative vibes too.
I definitely got that from that conversation. And it was funny because there's another DJ that was in the room for the first conversation and the second conversation, and he turned to me, he was like, did he not realize that it was us three that were just talking yesterday, like last night?
That's that hurt, man.
My feelings was hurt a little bit, but you know,
he probably went back to the car. Was like, dang, I messed that one up, man.
And I don't think not that night he didn't. Not that night, but I can guarantee you he has since then.
I wanted to chime in on that actually, though, man, because I read somewhere that you got your start at a house party, like doing house parties and like basement parties and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I was looking at like the comparison between the two of y'all. And I know what he's been through, but man, like, how do y'all feel like that's bred y'all to be like that ultimate DJ though? Like, that's like major, man. Like I was reading, I was like, ooh.
Rock, scissors, paper. You go first.
Okay.
You go first.
Well, for me, it's two parts because, like I said, it's a community. You have to pass it down, right? Mm-hmm. So I started off looking at my Uncle Ricky and my cousin Keith do basement parties and block parties in New York, right? And they only played Caribbean music, really.
Tough crowd.
I think they had one hip hop record, and it was Joeski Love, Pee Wee Herman. Right. And so I used to watch them do their thing to kind of get the mechanics of it down. But they'd never let me touch the turntables. I would just have to watch and watch and watch. I watched for years, you know, until they went out somewhere, and I was like, man, I'm
up there.
Yep. I got on the turntables and I broke the needle.
Ooh,
got my butt kicked.
Yeah, you supposed to get that one,
but they taught me.
Yeah,
you know, and so after learning, I started doing these like little park jams and basement parties and stuff like that, and kind of cultivated my skill. I annoyed everybody in my building because I was just making noise and I wasn't good. So I was just annoying everybody, and I started taking my little bit of money, whatever little. I used to bag groceries at this place called Seatown in Brooklyn, right? And back then they didn't have all the child labor laws, so it was like, yo, if you came in and you bag groceries, you could do it for tips. So we would do that all summer, like do it for tips.
Right.
And then I'd just go buy like, you know, EPMD, J-Rue the Damager, Gangstar. I just buy records and records and records and records. And that's how I built up my collection, by doing that. So yeah. it's good when you start that way though, because from humble beginnings,
Yep.
you know, you'll have humble success. You'll have humility when you get there, because a lot of people, it's so easy for people to do things now that they don't appreciate the journey. Therefore, when they get there, they don't know how to act.
I had the same thing because when I started DJing, what I learned to DJ on was 2 Stanton CD players. So if you couldn't blend, you train wreck, it's nothing better and worse than to get a crowd going, you got the vibe, and you train wreck, and you lose everybody. Or you barely have the vibe, and then you train wreck. Now you got to start over, over again.
And hear about it.
Yeah. So, it's like, yo, you was that DJ that was jamming, but then they always remember the negative. They don't point out the positive all the time. So for me, like, blending, I can blend anything.
Right.
You see, and me doing house parties, it taught me the importance of how to pay attention to different parts of the crowd.
Right.
Okay, I got this side of the room going. Let me see what I can do to incorporate this side and different genres of music and stuff like that. So when I first started DJing, my first music I was blending was Latin music and Caribbean music.
Right.
The Caribbean music was tough because that's a tough crowd for me, because they with you, but when you lose them, when you lose a Caribbean crowd,
look,
you know.
Imagine doing these block parties, and you got the neighborhood kids out there.
Right.
You got the older folks out there. But then you got the drug dealing dudes out there, most of whom are Caribbean.
Right.
You know they hold it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you trying to entertain these dudes more than anything, because everybody around them is going to follow what they do.
That's right.
You know, so a lot of the times when I was doing it, I was looking at them, because I was like, yo, if I can make them move, or if I can make them,
is cool.
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was kind of like, I remember one time a dude walked up to me and put a $50 bill down and was like, he wanted to hear, I don't remember what the song was. And I don't know if it was just sheer ignorance or because I take DJing so seriously.
Right.
I told him, nah, you can keep your money. I played that already. Like, just straight up told him I played it already. Because, you know, I was taught that way. Like, you don't play nothing twice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, nah, I played it already.
And I was taught the same way, because shout out to Knock One, and shout out to Doc up in Jersey. They were big on that too. Like, I was like, why you won't play white? And it was like, the first time you ever play it twice, you'll see why. So it's like, for me, like a lot of DJ friends that I have, they don't take requests. I don't call it requests, I call it suggestions. I'm gonna listen to you. It doesn't mean I'll play it, but I'm gonna listen to you. And just because I played the song and you didn't hear it, you want me to run it back, it's more than just one person in the party.
Right,
so,
exactly.
As a DJ, like, I've done parties and I've had people come to me and, you know, they want to tell me to play this, do this, and I'm like, yo, that's not going to work. So they think it's that easy. I step back and give them the turntables and let them, hey, you know what you're doing? I'm going to let you rock. I did it a couple of times.
I've done that.
And they get up there and do what they were saying to do, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And then I go up and do what I was already doing, and it continues to work.
That's right.
So people have to understand the importance of creating a vibe. It doesn't always mean the first song's going to get everybody hyped. You have to create the vibe.
It's a science, man.
It's a science.
And I applaud y'all for how y'all do it too, man. Yeah, I can press buttons over here. I could be, you know, DJ Oxcord or whatever, but it's a different, y'all got that whole approach to it, man. Y'all have an approach to it.
It's a whole difference. Now, I also see that, and we all know that you have radio in your background with WBLS.
We're talking to DJ LYVWYR right now, Waves of the Bay.
So we see that you have radio in your background, WBLS. How did you get connected with that? Because WBLS is like big, like you got Scratch and you got so many different, you know, big names come through there. So how did you come across that situation?
Well, I was with iHeart first. I was with Clear Channel for a long time. While I was with iHeart, I ended up, we had to do kind of like a celebrity beach party in Anguilla one year. And Doug had already known I was a little bit frustrated with my situation over there at the time. So we go over to Anguilla, we're over there chilling, and he says, he's like, yo, how you feel about that situation where you at? I said, I mean, you know, like, it's been kind of weird ever since I went over to the hip hop and R&B station, because I used to do talk radio.
Right.
So once I got over there, it was just got kind of weird. So he was like, well, you know, I'm about to start this radio show. on WBLS, and already my eyes were like
Getting big.
because I grew up on this station.
You already know.
You know, so I'm like, okay, yeah. So he's like, yeah, we're going to do a Saturday night show, 9 to 11. So he was like, you know, I would really like you to come in and produce the show.
Oh,
So
that's a different check.
yeah, so I was like, done.
That's a different check right there.
Done. We spent a week in Anguilla. As soon as I got back, I marched right into the office, resignation, and then
Oh, you felt good, boy.
Yeah, I was feeling so good. I mean, it's an opportunity that I've wanted all my life. I always wanted to work either for 98.7 KISS or WBLS.
Right.
You know, so to get that opportunity was great, and you know, almost immediately we became #1 in the time slot.
Nice.
You know, knocked out Mr. C. Shouts to Mr. C. I ain't trying to diss, bro. You know, but you know, we took that slot and just started killing it.
Right.
And it was a great opportunity for me, and it was also a dream job for me. You know, I really, really always wanted to be on WBLS. You know, Frankie Crocker, you know, all these people I grew up on.
Everybody you grew up on, and like you said, the station like that you grew up listening to, you know, like for me, this station, I grew up listening to this station. Now I'm sitting in the seat as one of the voices in the station, you know, aggravating people and having a good time.
You got your own mailbox and everything,
Got my own
bro.
mailbox.
Got the code to get in the building.
I don't have to, like I was saying, I don't got to call nobody to let me in. I got a code, you know. So
Right.
that's a wonderful thing. So when it comes to DJs, of course you've met a lot of different DJs throughout the industry. Is there a DJ that you have not met that you know, you're looking forward to meeting? I mean, it's only a matter of time. We know this, but is there a particular DJ that you're looking forward to, or you have not crossed paths with?
It's crazy because I've met a lot of my favorites over the years. I met probably my #3 favorite, who's now gone now, DJ Rock Raider. Shout out to Rock Raider. Rest in peace. But my #1 DJ I have not met yet.
Who's the #1?
DJ Red Alert.
Really?
Never met Red Alert.
He's been here.
Never.
He's been in Tampa
Yeah,
a
he's
couple
rocked
times.
ODS quite a few
To
times. I
ODS,
feel like
shout
he
out
was
to
just
ODS,
here
man.
not too long ago.
Yeah, like
Never.
I feel like he was just here
I
not
think
too long
he's
ago.
been here like 2-3 times.
And here's what's interesting. The moment I realized that I should be DJing, I was at Coney Island. He was
Okay.
spinning. This was like around like Christmas time. I was really, really young. I might have been like maybe 9 or 10. And he was spinning on the Himalaya. And I climbed. It was so many people out there. I climbed up to the top so I could look down to see what he was doing.
Right.
And I was watching him do it. And I was like, oh, that's how he does it. Because I used to listen to him every Saturday night.
Right.
And he was always my favorite DJ, and I've never met him. All these DJs that I've met over the years, all these legendary people, I've been on major tours.
You would think you would have run into Red Alert.
Never.
Wow. Well, who's your #2?
Jazzy Jeff.
Look at you.
I know you
Look
met
at you.
Jazzy.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I've
right.
opened for Jazzy twice, and you know I've been in circles where he was there, and
Right.
I've chit chat with him. But yeah, Jazzy Jeff was my #2, and Rock Raider's #3.
Jazzy's my 1. DJ AM is my 2.
Oh yeah, AM was crazy. Yeah.
Scratch is my 3.
Ooh, Scratch is nice.
Scratch is my 3. And I said this one time, and I threw it on Facebook one time. If you put Scratch and you put Jazzy in a battle, who would win and why? And you know, you have people go, you know, different directions and stuff. But I would want to see it more so for sport, because Jazzy is Jazzy. Scratch
He's
is
so
Scratch.
clean.
Right. But Scratch is one of those DJs that you put him to the test, he's gonna pass it every time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so is Jazzy. So I just, that's just something that I would like to see just for the sport, you know, because I know that
Absolutely.
it's gonna be just legendary.
They're so creative though. Like I
Right.
remember one time we were at this conference. It might have been like 2004, 2005, and Scratch is doing a demonstration on coincidentally Serato Scratch.
Right.
Like around that time, it was like really
It was just
starting
coming,
to pop.
yeah.
And he's doing this demonstration, and he's playing "Ain't No Half Stepping" from Big Daddy Kane.
No.
And he's doing the part where it's like Friday the 13th. I'm gonna play Jason, and he keeps bringing it back and bringing it
Is
back.
that when he did the mask?
And he came down,
Okay.
and he put the mask on, and
Yeah.
he started coming back up with the mask on. I
Yeah.
said, nah, man, I'm done. I'm quitting.
Yeah.
I don't even want to DJ no more, man. I'm going to just go home
Yeah.
and just sell all my stuff.
I never seen him and Jazzy together, but I used to always see. There's a lot of videos of Jazzy and AM together.
Right, yeah,
They would go
yeah.
and
They
do
were really
New
close.
Orleans. Yeah, man. It was just crazy. Like they would go back and forth, and
Yeah.
even Scratch Bastard.
He's sick.
He nice.
I want to give a
like
shout
that
out to
name.
my man, though, DJ Spinbad from New York.
Okay.
Spinbad is outrageous. I don't know. Let me put it to you this way. If you listen to him mixing,
Okay.
you're like, there's no possible way anybody's hands can move that fast.
I thought the same thing until I seen Scratch in person.
Yeah.
Like, I seen Scratch at ODS. Shot at ODS. I seen him at ODS and he killed it. And then we had a Park Jam here. Shout out to DJ Reality. We had Park Jam here, and they had it when it was the Triple S edition. So we would have 3 DJs. And the Triple S edition, it was Spaceship, Sandman, shout out to Sandman, and Scratch.
That was a crazy one right there.
That
too,
one,
man.
and
Like,
the thing that meant so much to me about that particular edition was it was done in the neighborhood where I grew up at.
kids was out there and everything, man. We was out there
residents
having a
of
good
the park.
time.
Like, it was just people walking by, stopping, they just started listening. But you had 3 DJs, 3 different styles, and we all killed it. I personally feel like they, did better than I did, but that's because, Sandman and Scratch, like I say, Scratch is in my top.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So to be able to open up for them, and that to me was just...
Yeah, Sandman is
dude,
ill. Shout
boy.
out to Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman a beast.
For real, man.
Sandman is ill.
We got to get Sandman up here too, man. To get
It's about
part
time
2.
for part 2.
It's
I
past
don't know if we
time
got
for
enough
part
time
2.
for all that, man.
We got to structure it.
We got to do like a mini series type thing.
We got to
part
get
2 and part 3.
to wrap it up. Because with Sandman, he taught you the history about Tampa.
He was telling stories, man.
A lot of stuff a lot of people didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And people just think that, he started just doing, not a lot of people, but some people might not know his history. But if you go back and listen to the podcast we did, or just go up to him and speak, period, he can tell you things about the city that you have to be from here to know about it.
Yeah, I first met him, I want to say 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. We were on the same show for Cannabis. Cannabis came to Orlando.
Sounds
and
about
we were
right.
on that show. Yeah, we did that show together. And then last year, we did Beats by the Bay, me and Doug and Slick Rick, and he was there too.
Yep, 95.7.
I love how he just be name dropping so candidly, man. It's just like, me and Slick Rick was out there getting some crab legs.
We was just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we was out there drinking waters and shooting dice, and we had our Poland Springs.
So
and
we're
all
talking
that.
to DJ LYVWYR right here on Waves of the Bay. Dougie Fresh Tour DJ. DJ LYVWYR, man. Just in addition to everything else you doing, man, like you stay busy, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I mean, I got Jazz in the Gardens coming up in a couple of weeks, and then I have the Tom Joyner Cruise coming up March 28th through April 5th.
Man.
And then I have Essence Festival this summer. I have Dubai in September.
I need to just
and
be in your carry-on bag or something, man. Just put me in a check bag or something, man. I go under the plane or something like that.
Hey, look, man. I am always, if you know anything about me, I'm always down. If I have an opportunity to help somebody out, I'm always down to help somebody out. There's a lot of DJs in Orlando that will attest to that fact.
Yeah, because shout out to my Sinister Syndicate brothers. We do the Get Up and the Get Down, and you came out to spin, and I was like, okay, who's? I had heard of you, but I didn't know what you looked like.
Right.
So I came out to check out the event. That's my family. And then I was looking, and then shout out to Sherry. She was like, she told me who you were. That's him right there. So I said, I'm gonna sit back and listen. And I sat back and listened. I was like, dang, like this dude. He do his thing, and I dug a little deep into your background, and I see that you of Caribbean descent. Shout out to Trinidad.
Trinidad and Tobago.
How has your heritage? How has being from the Caribbean, being Trinidadian, helped you with DJing?
It helped me because the interesting thing about Trinidad, Calypso and Soca derives from Trinidad. Right? But if you go to Trinidad, you rarely even hear that music unless it's carnival time.
Right.
So because of that fact, growing up, before I came here at age 7. Before then, it was just a lot of American music of different genres.
Right.
So I learned early to be into different genres.
Right.
Even though I love hip hop, I also used to listen to 80s rock. I would listen to R&B, disco, like just every genre
Just to have
of
your
music.
hands in a little bit everything.
Yeah, and I was into it. Like I wasn't just like listening, I was like actually into it.
Right.
And so that cultivated my love for music as a whole. So I always kind of look at Trinidad as the foundation of how I got there.
Gotcha.
Because it isn't just like, you know, some dudes, they grow up in New York, so they only really like East Coast hip hop.
That's right.
But because I wasn't born there, and because I got the love for different types of music early.
Gotcha.
You know, like I used to, for instance, I used to listen to you know, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg,
Right.
You know, a lot of the death row artists and stuff like that, right? NWA, Spice One, you know, like different artists.
Right.
And I would listen to them and dissect where they got the samples from, right?
Yes.
That's what interested me about all genres of music, because the instrumentation was always intriguing to me.
Right.
You know, so, and I feel like I got that from Trinidad, because everything that they make in their music is real.
Right.
You know, like steel pans, drums, pianos, everything, all of it is real when you listen to old school soca.
Right.
So because of that, it kind of gave me the love for listening to music in its truest form.
Gotcha.
You know, like I love hip hop,
Right.
but I want to know where it came from.
Right. And
You
that's
know?
that's like me when I hear like songs that come out with samples and stuff, like Tory Lanez. Speaking of current artists, Tory Lanez, he does a lot of samples.
Right.
Chris Brown got a couple of samples, and it goes back to the producers. And when you trace their history and lineage, you go back to, you know, them growing up, what they heard,
Right.
songs that really, you know, touched them and that really stuck to them, and you know they use it in their artistry. Have you ever played in Carnival?
No. I usually just go down to enjoy.
Okay.
Like I'll just go down and spend time with family and everything, and we'll go. There's two different ones. There's the Carnival in end of February and March.
Right.
But then there's this other one called Borrow Day, and that's in the south of Trinidad.
Okay.
That's where, like, if you're from the south, that's their carnival.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's where my parents are from.
Gotcha.
So that's where I usually that happens in May, the first weekend in May. So I usually go down for that. And we just have a good time. I have like cousins and stuff that own clubs and stuff like that, but
Right.
I don't go down to work. I just go down
to
to
relax.
just,
That'll be
chill.
dope. I mean, think about it. You go home, like you said, full circle. You go home and you play Carnival. Like, that'd be dope. Like, I've never been to Carnival, but I know, like, I've heard each island starts Carnival. It starts in, was it Bahamas or something like that? Or,
Yeah.
And then it just goes around.
It goes around. Yeah, there's like crop over in Barbados and so forth and so on. Like it's pretty dope though. I mean, it's a great experience. Even though my family makes fun of me, they're like, "Yo, you didn't even really enjoy it for what it really is because you don't drink."
Right.
So you haven't really even enjoyed it yet.
Right.
You know, but I love it though. I love my culture. I love my people, and it's a great. And a lot of people don't know that that Doug is also from the Caribbean and he's also half Trini. So
That's what's
you
up.
know, yeah. So we have a great time.
How do you overcome stage fright? Like, you've done Funk Fest and you've done Jazz in the Gardens and you've done Beats by the Bay. Like, how do you overcome stage fright?
I am two different people.
Okay, because you said you don't drink.
No.
That's one of my go-to.
Yeah.
So what do you do to take that edge off to help you get over stage fright? I'm taking notes.
I feel like I'm two different people though.
Okay.
Because you know, off stage, and Sherry will probably attest to this. Off stage, I'm usually just to myself. I don't really do a lot of walking around or anything like that. I just kind of sit to myself, maybe meditate, just sit down and listen to the other DJs and just take it in and do whatever. And then when I get on, when the lights are on, I just become a different person.
yeah.
That's DJ LYVWYR right there.
Yeah, so I just become a different person. And then when I get off, I'm back to square one again. It's like the difference between Bruce Banner and the Incredible Hulk.
Gotcha.
You know, like I'm Bruce Banner when I'm off, and then when I get on and the lights come on, I turn green.
Gotcha.
After that, I just get off and I'm back to myself again.
What's your favorite music to spin? Like, what's your favorite genre music to spin? Like, we know soca and calypso is, you know, Trini.
Right.
But what is your favorite genre music to spin?
It differs. It depends on the mood.
Okay.
Really? I mean, I would naturally say old school hip hop, because that's what cultivated my love for music, really. I mean, it's the first genre of music I was actually in love with.
Gotcha.
You know, ever since I heard The Bridge Is Over, it was over for me.
The Bridge
I was
Is Over.
like, yo, I'm done. I'm good now. But it differs though, because sometimes I'm in the mood. On the way here, I was listening to Billy Cobham, right?
Okay.
I really love jazz, so I was listening to that on the way here. And sometimes I love to spin jazz.
Gotcha.
You know, sometimes I love 80s rock. I love, you know, Hall & Oates, Foreigner, all that stuff. You know, and it's trap. Well, some trap. My trap. You know what's funny about trap though, is that some of it is so catchy that you tend to, it's one of those, it's like the genre of music for me that I tend to enjoy that I don't know why I'm enjoying it. Because I don't identify with anything they're saying, but I just love, like some of the hooks are so catchy.
Right.
Like this Roddy Ricch song.
Okay.
I promise you, I was just talking about this earlier.
It's so catchy.
Right.
I don't know why I like it so much.
But it just gets you.
But it just gets me.
Right.
You know, there's another song from 10K called Aloha.
Okay.
Which me and my daughter rock to all the time. And it's like, it's just so catchy that you have to love it. But see, that's the essence of hip hop. You know, hip hop commands your attention.
Right.
I find that so interesting about hip hop as opposed to every other genre.
Right.
It commands your attention. Like when you hear it, even if you only heard it once, you take something away from it. There's an element of that song that you take away from it so that if you hear it again, you remember it right away.
Right. How is, I mean, so you said, you, as you know, you are a parent. How has being a father helped you stay focused as a DJ?
Because you know you got to go out and get it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not only that, it's the example that you have to set.
Right.
My kids are very free thinking. They, you know, and that's why I think living in LA is good for them, because they're in an environment where they can flourish and be who they are without any trepidation. They don't have to feel like they're too different, you know, and so out there they're able to just kind of fly free. Now, for me, being a DJ, I wanted to show them that you don't have to do everything conventional.
Right.
You can have a dream and you can go after it, and you don't have to feel bad about it. You know, I come from Caribbean descent, so my parents, or my mom, I should say, my mom always taught me, like, you know, you have to do the logical thing. You have to do the responsible thing.
Right.
You should be a lawyer. You should be a doctor.
Something,
you should
play it safe.
Right. Play it safe. And I never really believed that. And my mom never believed that the DJ thing would take me anywhere.
Right.
She'll tell you. She's like, I told him not to do it. It's a waste of time. And now my mom has a completely different opinion.
Well, I mean, you've not necessarily proved her wrong, but you've proved to her that it can be done.
It can be done.
It's a changing of the times at the same time, man. Because back then, like, you was just coming up. It was new. People didn't see anybody else being successful in that position. And now they can see that you can make a career and a longevity.
It's a lot of money in the DJing and stuff, man. Like a lot of people undervalue the importance of a DJ, but when it comes to like a good party, the two most important people that will always be the two most important, in no particular order. Now I'm gonna say it in order. Number one, the DJ. Right. Number two, the bartender. Right. Everybody else just fall in place. Like the promoter, you know, that's good. But if you got a good bartender and a good DJ, everybody, you know, word of mouth travels. You know, you got all the different social medias and stuff like that. So you get those two on the page together, and well, for you don't care about the bartender, but that's my DJ. The bartender is my DJ. They mix up my drink, they get me going, and then Tone running around talking about apply pressure and stuff like that. So that happens.
But you know what though? The worst part about it is, even though we're essential to how the party develops, right? We're the most scrutinized. Like nobody walks up to the bartender and tells him how to make a Long Island iced tea. That's true. You know what I'm saying? Nobody walks up to the door security and tells him how to throw somebody out. That's true. Nobody walks up to the door girl and tells her how to count money. We're the only ones. When the money coming up short, then we got to get rid of her. Then we got a problem. We got to look at her. She ain't past math, so. But they're always quick, you know, and luckily, like a lot of the people I work with, they're already familiar with my work, and I don't have those issues. But there are some people that will be like over your shoulder, like, hey, I think you should do this because blah, 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 blah. I know what I'm talking about. I know what they want to hear. Right. Okay, well, how did you get more than 2 ears? The guy make you a Jedi or something like that? You know what I'm saying? That's a good one. I might have to use that one. You trademark that. I'm just saying, like... but my classic move, when people do that, I'll step back and pass you the headphones. I want to see what you can do. Yeah. Because your plan sounds better than mine, right? Yeah. So they paid me for no reason, so I want you to, because if you can get it going, I might have to split my check with you. Yeah. Not really, but you know, I'm going to give you a chance to see what it is that we go through, because now that you have that one song, you got to have 3 more songs and 3 more songs. Like you got to, and then it's like even after you finish DJing, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you do it. It's like you be like, dang, I didn't play this, and I wanted to go this way, but if I'd have played this, it's
like you find your mind continue to run because it's like, if I play this song, then I went this way, then I connect this way. And
yeah, it's a puzzle. Yeah. Putting it together is all a puzzle. I mean, you can have all the music in the world and see some inexperienced DJs think that they think that it's about if you can play all the new stuff, then you'll get them going. And you have to understand that it's kind of like making a meal for somebody. You know, like just because everything was handmade and you use all fresh ingredients doesn't mean that you used it right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to curate it and make sure that people are getting it. And a lot of that has to do with communication. Getting on the mic or looking at people and seeing what they're doing will tell you what type of spices to put in that meal.
I had to learn that the hard way because, I didn't think it was a difference going from doing house parties to going into DJing in clubs, and it actually is.
Yeah.
A house party, it is what it is. A club, now you're dealing with more people, more opinions, so it's just a completely different wave. And
people you don't know on top of that.
Yeah, you don't know what you're
wherever they from.
Yeah.
Well, in the house party, you're doing it because you want to create a vibe to where people can socialize.
Right.
In the club,
you got to do it for a lot more reasons than that.
Right. There's people socializing. There's people that just want to, drink and listen to their favorite songs, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a completely different vibe. And plus, too, I mean, some of the people in the club, they're, it's all about image for them.
Right.
They want to take the picture when their favorite song is on and they got a full bottle.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's a lot about appearances too.
Right.
So, it's a lot different. To be honest with you, the house parties are more fun.
Yeah. I like the house parties more that way because it's more intimate to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind doing clubs, so if anybody want to, book me for a club or something, I'll take that.
Holla at DJ Spaceship.
It's more intimate, and I like, for me, when I go do parties and, like, say, for example, I go do a Latin party and they looking like, oh, man, here come the Source Awards. And then I'm playing all the Latin music and they like, wait a minute, how did you know this?
Right.
That type of stuff. I love that wow factor.
Right.
That, when that type of stuff happens. But I'm pretty sure you've gotten that quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always shocking people. I mean, I'll be in a club somewhere and I can go from hip hop to like Nirvana, and people are like, I don't understand what's happening. But it's all about how you feed it to them. It's all about how you put it together.
Right.
If you do it the right way, a lot of people will mess with you.
Right.
A lot of people will accept it and say, oh, that was different. I like it.
And another thing that I pride myself on, and I know you do as well, being able to play, different genres of music and not being just a one-dimensional type DJ. You only can play hip hop. You can only play R&B. You can only play old school. You can only play Caribbean. I pride myself on being able to play like anything with a beat. Like if I don't understand it, I don't know it. I do my research because, of course, like you said, you got what's the songs that are hot that's on the radio. Eventually, you get tired of that. You turn the radio on, you hear it all day. There's still like thousands and hundreds of thousands of songs that are old that still jam just as hard as the new ones. If not, they may have sampled the old songs for the new songs.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff that I like. DJ Shizm used to actually challenge me to that. It's like, okay, what's on the radio. This DJ coming in, he doing this, his job is to play those. When he's done and you coming behind him, pause, what are you going to do to keep this vibe going and keep this crowd hype? And I would sit back with the dumb face like okay, he got a point. But it pushed me and challenged me to step my game up. So who was it that pushed you to step your game up when it came to music selection and stuff like that? She say me.
Well, it's a few different people. Like I said, Special K, Awesome 2. But there's some people that are lesser known. My man Big D, he's also from Trinidad. He used to do all the sound for all these major clubs in Orlando, like the Roxy, Rain, Whispers, all these different places in Orlando. He's one of those types of people, like just robust knowledge, like anything you need to know about DJing. He's been doing it all his life. He's been building sounds, building speakers, he knows everything. So he's one of those people for me. But one thing I realized too, through all my different influences, is if you're gonna curate these sets for these people, you have to understand that everybody is different and you can't please everybody. You just can't. You know, like you have to find the correct balance between doing what you feel is right as a professional and then also trying to appease as many people as you can. You have to find that balance. But the only way to do that, you have to remove the ego.
Yep.
You have to remove it. You can't have both. You know, you're going to have to either say...
You can, but that's called train wreck.
Right. You know, like you're going to have to realize that, yo, I can't have an ego.
It's not about you.
Right. You know, and a lot of times you're going to feel it in your gut. I should do this. And you have to be okay with it. If it doesn't work, so what?
You tried.
You tried. But you have to be okay with that. And you also have to be okay with somebody saying, hey, I want to hear this song or whatever. Yeah. You know, and it's hard sometimes because when you're in a club and you're dealing with drunk people all over the place, it's like, you know, it's hard sometimes.
Tension.
Right. But the thing that overrides that feeling for me is when I do play it and those same people are as happy as they've been since they've been in that club for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like just seeing their reaction does it for me. That's the best. To me, that's one of the best highs of DJing. When you see a crowd on 10 and you know you did that.
Yeah. I read a quote from you saying that the only thing I love more than DJing is who I do it for.
Yes.
You. So I think that sums it up just perfectly. LYVWYR, go ahead and give your social media information. I know you're about to do work here in a second. I'm excited for this thing.
I am on social media, DJLYVWYR on all platforms. You know, Instagram, everything. I have a Snap. I don't hardly ever use it. I don't know. Maybe I'm old. I have no idea. But
I can't stand Snapchat.
Yeah, I can't use it. But I'm on Instagram and Facebook, DJLYVWYR. Hit me up. You know, bookings, whatever. Or just to come out and support your event, man. I like to go out to other people's stuff too. So, you know, just let me know.
Sure, man. We just had a DJ bromance between Spaceship and LYVWYR over here.
I don't get fun that often.
But for real, man, if you're an upcoming DJ and you're trying to figure out what you need to do to get into the game, man, like what's funny to me is just like I said, like the way you got started is the way you got started.
Yeah.
So which means that what he's doing, you can be doing too. So we're on the right path.
Well, let me get $5 then. You know, you're a little far.
We on the right path. We just gotta make it happen, man. But for real, this Ways of the Bay, episode 16. That was the interview with DJ LYVWYR. He's about to go into the Kenny K studio and do work in just one moment. I got some promos to play. On the flip side, we're gonna be right back with it. Make sure you stay locked. 88.5. Yo, this is Tone Capone, and you're getting lifted to the sounds of my DJ, DJ Spaceship. Go ahead and beam him up, boy. Let's get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him.
Greetings and salutations from us to all the nations. We're about to get loose, strictly for entertainment. We're reppin' Tampa Bay, 10 toes down. It's waves of the bay. No, we ain't playing round. Saturdays from 10 to 12. Make sure you ride the wave. It's Tone Capone and DJ Spaceship on your airwaves. We're mixing interviews, R&B and hip hop. We're blasting off, and the top is just a pit stop.